A very good afternoon, distinguished guests, respected dignitaries, esteemed speakers, and dear delegates. Welcome to this special session at the India AI Impact Summit 2026. On behalf of the BRICS Chamber of Commerce and Industry, it is my pleasure to welcome you to the panel discussion titled From Implementers to Innovators, Shifting the Narrative Towards Women Entrepreneurship in AI. Before we begin, allow me to briefly introduce the institution behind this initiative. The BRICS Chamber of Commerce and Industry is a leading industry body working to strengthen trade, investment, innovation, and policy dialogue among BRICS and BRICS Plus nations. The Chamber serves as a bridge between businesses, governments, and institutions, fostering collaboration across sectors such as technology, energy, manufacturing, finance, and now increasingly digital transformation and artificial intelligence. Under India's BRICS Presidency 2026, the Chamber is committed to advancing future-focused partnership, responsible innovation, and inclusive economic growth across member nations. Within the Chamber, the BRICS CCI Women Empowerment Vertical plays a pivotal role in promoting women-led enterprises, leadership development, global mentorship, and cross-border collaborations. BRICS CCIV works actively to create platforms where women are not only participants in economic growth, but leaders shaping it. Today's session is a reflection of that commitment. AI is redefining industries at an unprecedented pace. However, the real transformation will happen when women move beyond being users and implementers of AI systems to becoming founders, innovators, policymakers, and investors in AI ecosystem. To formally commence the session, I now have the honor of inviting a visionary leader who has been the driving force behind Chamber's key initiatives. A passionate advocate for youth empowerment and sustainable development, he has dedicated himself to creating platforms that inspire skill building, leadership, and social responsibility. His efforts extend to taking leadership roles in prestigious organizations, promoting governance and youth engagement, and active involvement in national initiatives like Swachh Bharat and Atmanirbhar Bharat. Please join me in welcoming the Vice Chairman of BRICS CCI, Mr. Sameep Shastri, to deliver the welcome address. May I please have a huge round of applause. Thank you.
Distinguished guests, respected speakers, industry leaders, and dear friends, good afternoon. It is my privilege to welcome you all on behalf of BRICS Chamber of Commerce and Industry to the India Impact Summit 2026, the first day. The summit is a cauldron of ideas where innovation and leadership comes together. Artificial intelligence is changing the way we work, learn, and do business, and solve global challenges. India today is emerging as a strong voice in the global AI ecosystem, and the summit reflects our commitment to using this technology for inclusive and sustainable growth. As India takes on the BRICS presidency in 2026, we do so with futuristic and forward-looking vision. Under India's leadership, we aim to strengthen cooperation in technology, digital innovation, entrepreneurship, and responsible AI development. We believe that AI must not only be powerful, it must be inclusive, and that is why today's panel discussion from implementers to innovators, shifting the narrative towards women entrepreneurship in AI is so very relevant. Women should not only be users of AI tools, they should also be creators, founders, decision makers, and leaders in AI ecosystem. When women lead in technology, innovation becomes more balanced, ethical, and impactful. I would like to sincerely thank Ms. Ruby Sinha, President of BRICS CCI Women Empowerment, for curating this meaningful discussion. I also extend my heartfelt gratitude to distinguished speakers, Ms. Amrita Chaudhary, Ms. Alvera Chache, Mr. Bibin Babu, Ms. Nigella Gimarais, and Ms. Shivani Singh Kapoor for joining us today. Your experience and insight will guide us and inspire many aspiring entrepreneurs and innovators sitting here. Let this session be more than just a discussion. Let it be the beginning of new ideas, new partnership, and new opportunities for women in AI. I once again welcome you all and wish you a very engaging and productive session ahead. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, sir, for those inspiring and forward-looking remarks. We now move to our panel discussion. It is my privilege to introduce our moderator for today's session, Ms. Ruby Sinha. Ms. Sinha is the president of BRICS CCI V Vertical, the Women Empowerment Vertical of BRICS Chamber. She is the founder of She at Work and Commune Brand Communication. She has been on the panel of experts of Saksham Power of She, a program under METI, Government of India's Digital India Initiative. A former journalist, she is also involved with the entrepreneurship think tank of MEPSE under the Government of India and has been a final round jury member at the Innovators World Cup. Now let me introduce our esteemed panelists. We have Ms. Amrita Chaudhary, co-founder and CEO of Gaia, a deep learning analytics company, driving digital transformation for governments and enterprises. She also serves as an independent director on multiple leading corporate boards and brings rich global leadership experience across technology, media, and education. We're honored to have with us Ms. Elvira Chache, Executive Director, AI Regulation and International Cooperation at Cyberbank, an expert in AI governance, data regulation, and international policy frameworks, with prior experience as Global Data Protection Officer for a major international banking group. Mr. Bipin Babu, founder of GrowQR AI and Executive Director, BRICS CCI, a serial entrepreneur, AI investor, and ecosystem builder who has supported and scaled multiple startups while actively shaping India's emerging technology landscape. Ms. Najila Guimarães, Director, Global Strategic Partnerships at Instituto Plus Mulheres, Brazil, a global executive advancing gender equity and international collaboration, currently leading initiatives at the intersection of generative AI and innovation. And last but not the least, Ms. Shivani Singh Kapoor, co-founder of Think Startup and IIT Delhi and IIM Calcutta Alumni, entrepreneur, mentor, and investor dedicated to building entrepreneurial mindsets and supporting women-led startups. We are honored to have such a distinguished and diverse panel representing multiple geographies and perspectives. Let us now begin the discussion. Before moving forward, I request everyone to please put your phone on silent. I now hand over the stage to Ms. Ruby Sinha. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Yashika, and thanks, Samibji, for pushing us on and always being a big support to the women's vertical. Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of the Women's Vertical of the BRICS Chamber of Commerce and Industry, I would like to extend a warm welcome to you and thank you for taking out time to be here, part of the panel. So when you talk about AI is no longer a future technology. It's no longer a buzzword. It's totally in the infrastructure of the current landscape. And because I've come from a communications background, I'll take a quote from what Sir Martin Sorrell has talked about AI, that the AI has navigated through the wow phase of 2023 and the how phase of 2024 to the current phase where it is all about now. That is the execution phase, the impact phase, and that is what the summit is all about. And when we talk about AI, today, as you're seeing, the landscape has really changed for women in AI. For decades, the narrative for us women was that, we were just trying to get access into the room. But today, it's all changed. Today, women are no longer just the users, the data points, the algorithms, the consumer. Today, women are going to shape the AI revolution, and we're increasingly seeing the influence that women have. Now, it's no longer about just finding a seat at the table. It's about designing the table itself. And that's what we're going to focus here today in our discussion. And while I'm talking about this, I just wanted to tell you a bit about what we've done at BRICS CCIV at the previous summit in Brazil during the BRICS WBA plenary session. Entrepreneurship globally, which is our effort, our endeavor to create a global platform, a collaborative platform to bring together women so that we mentor them and create a leadership pipeline globally. And this platform is something that we are actively working on, and the entire focus is on women in future technologies and especially AI. Coming to the current summit's theme, the theme Sarvajan Hitaya, Sarvajan Sukhaya, which means welfare for all and happiness for all. And this focuses on our Honorable Prime Minister's vision of democratizing AI. And when you talk about democratizing AI without the gender equality parameter, it's of no use. So this is a key focus of the summit here. And we thank METI for giving us this platform to take our discussion forward. Our esteemed panel here today is very diverse. We also have one male representative to ensure the diversity quotient. And we've kept him right in the center. so that nobody can miss him. So we have the founders, we have the investors, we have the policy experts and the disruptors. And we look into an interesting deliberation amongst this eminent panel on the topic that we've talked about over here, from implementers to innovators, shaping the narrative for women entrepreneurship in AI, basically shifting the narrative more. So when I start off now, my first question is to Amrita, the tech entrepreneur amongst us here. Amrita, we're talking about shaping the AI revolution for women and things like that. But you've been a tech entrepreneur. You can really give me a take on how the shift is happening, whether it's actually happening, whether we are still users of AI as women, more users, or we are actually moving towards being entrepreneurs in the AI space. Over to you.
Thanks, Ruby. So absolutely, it's an exciting time to be an entrepreneur today. But numbers-wise, if we see today, startups and MSMEs, about 20% of companies are led by women as founders or co-founders. So the number is still small, but it is growing year on year. Now, when we come to the usage of AI across many of these sectors and by companies which are being headed by women, you'll see that there is a lot of AI that is already being adopted in many of these companies. So if you look at for example, fintech, there are a lot of companies who are looking at priority sector lending and so on, which are using AI algorithms in there. There are companies looking at models for retail and retail tech. Whether it be in marketing, whether it be in supply chain, and so on. If I look at my own area, which is urban development, sustainability, infrastructure, and so on, there's a lot that has already been happening with the usage of AI in these areas. So if you're looking at any of our smart cities, they are actually indeed, while we may say, okay, it's not smart enough yet, but at the core infrastructure level, there is already a lot of tech that is already there. If you're looking at the safe cities, and if you're from Delhi, you'll see a lot of these cameras which are around the city. So they're using surveillance algorithms, they're using incident detection algorithms. There are use cases where things are being tracked, and if there is a person of interest or an object of interest, those are being tracked on a regular basis. We also work a lot in, let's say, smart mobility. In there, there is a lot of women-led founders also, who are in running companies related to toll management systems. There are people. There's a very interesting bus mobility card platform where women are there. We are working on right now a national multi-lane free flow system, again involving a lot of AI algorithms which are going to look at real-time processing of vehicles as they are passing by, so that the toll is processed immediately without you needing to stop at the toll plaza. So I think there is interesting times, and the number of women is low, but it is growing, and it will continue to grow, hopefully, with all the effort and support that is being provided right now.
Good to hear that, and good to see women like you shaping the AI revolution. Now, when we talk about women entrepreneurship, regulation and entrepreneurship go hand in hand. And we have somebody here with us, Elvira from Russia. And when you talk about the global south, she's one of the key figures in the AI regulatory ecosystem. So if you look at it, Elvira, the AI Impact Summit that we are having in India, it's focused a lot around 7 chakras. And one of the important focus areas of the 7 chakra is safe and trusted AI. So when you think from a regulatory perspective, how important is it for women to be at the leadership level when it comes to making regulations for the AI sector?
Okay, great question, Ruby. Thank you very much. Thank you, participants, for coming. Thank you for speakers to be here with me. It's quite a pleasure to be here. Well, I do feel it's really critical for women to be to be on the leading role in regulation and ethics, and I will explain why. As you can see from my position, I work in regulation, and I know how it's going on in Russia and all over the world because I work in international law as well. And what I faced last year, I had a project, scientific project, quite a big one, international one. We had more than 217 scientists on different fields, also like on AI and ethics at the same time. And I faced the problem that the majority of scientists participated and contributed somehow to the project were 99% men. And I was wondering why it happened like this. I've never thought before that we had such problem in Russia, because no one was speaking that we had problems with women entrepreneurship or with women in AI in general, or with women in IT in general. Yeah, I've never thought about it. And I started thinking like, how it's really in Russia. And I started talking to my colleagues from every sector in AI, in startups, in big techs in Russia, in educational institutions, basically everywhere. And I happened to see that really the percentage of women is like 8% in the whole. And I was wondering whether it's possible to create maybe a very large community for Russian AI women, and especially for entrepreneurship, women entrepreneurship in AI. So I'm thinking about it right now and want to work together with other countries from the global south. But so that's why I came to that topic about women in AI. And as we are talking about safe and trusted AI, this is very important because the whole world leading to trustworthy AI and whatsoever, how we call it. And we happen to live in the world where we train our models on the very no, I can't say very. The data, collected 10 or 15 years ago. Yeah, the situation changes pretty fast. It's constantly changing, and we need to collect all the time new data where women shows in different areas and their leading show their leading positions in that sectors. But okay, if the country can collect this data, yeah. But what we're talking about, the countries from the global south, which came to that problem 5-6 years ago. You need to collect data for 5-6 years to train the model good, so not to be abusive towards women. Yeah, so I will say this word because I'm representing right now the financial institution, and I know everything about credit scoring and other stuff, and we know that gender is also the feature included in credit scoring, of course, among others. There are lots of features included in credit scoring, but one of them is gender, and we need to fix this problem. But to fix this problem, we need to collect lots of data proving that world is going to different direction right now. And it also concerns women in internship when they come for the loan, yeah? It's going to my next question. So yeah, it's really important women to be the part of legislation and ethics part of AI to close this gap in safe and trusted AI.
Great. What you're talking about data sharing in the global south, I think that's a big concern for all countries. And how we share the data amongst ourselves, that's a key concern. We are trying to create a database of women entrepreneurs in technology globally as a chamber. And I know that there's a lot of information that you cannot share and can share across countries. But that's definitely... Come to the lone male panelist who's trying to... I'll come to the easy question right now, is the inaugural question. So you are an agentic AI entrepreneur, and agentic is the smartest AI model currently. So when you look at the agentic AI landscape, how do you see women, women entrepreneurs making their presence felt in this space?
Firstly, it's an honor to be the only man on the panel. At the same time, I'll also be very cautious about not telling women what they should do. I would rather talk about what we as men, as founders, as investors, as institutions should do. But to answer your question, Ruby, I think women are already making their presence felt in the Agentic AI space pretty well. To answer your question, I had the opportunity of meeting Meera Muroti, who is the CTO women are already making their presence in the US a couple of months back. AI space pretty well. I think one thing which she spoke to me about was I had the opportunity. One thing she spoke good to me about was that in India, the AI involvement of women in AI, like in data, is much higher than some other countries, which was validated by a data which I read right before entering the room. I think one thing which she on the scale of me about was women in India. One thing which she spoke good to me about was on the scale of 1.91, the AI just a little ahead of involvement of US in around 1.7 in terms of involvement in AI is much higher. They're already doing a lot in the AI space. For that matter, which I read right before also was able to meet that on the scale of Fifi Lee, who is the founder of AI for 1.9 for all. So, if you talk about Agentic AI, women are already doing too much, which is around 1.7 in terms of the most popular, which means they're already doing a lot today, which is open AI space. For that matter, the CTO and the co-founder also was able to meet was a woman, Madam Fifi Lee, who is the founder of it's about what next. AI for it's about what next. So, and if you talk about Agentic AI, women are already doing too much. If the most popular startups today, which is open, which are women led in the AI space, the CTO and the co-founder was what's happening is was a woman. It's already proven. Women co-founders, especially at the CTO levels. It's about what they're able to put in a lot of context, a lot of long-term, meeting so many startups, a lot of responsibility into the AI models or agentic AI models today. And why that is important, not just CTO level, for women, also for the they're able to put in a lot of context, a lot of because in some form or the other today the agentic AI responsibility influencing the decision making, agentic AI models today, and decision making. And why that is important, not just if that doesn't come with the right intent, the right context, the right kind of responsibility. In some form or the other today the agentic AI it's going to do more damage to us than decision making for the real world. And hence I firmly believe that in terms of the right intent, the right context, the right kind of responsibility are on the table. Probably should do more damage to us, and it's an invite, and hence I firmly believe that in terms of agentic AI, request to more women out there that are on the table, probably more in the AI space, in the agentic AI space. It's an invite, and a male friend of yours, probably a request to more join them there, join hands with them, and more in the AI space, in the agentic AI space. That's what my thought. If a male friend of yours or colleague is building, join them, join hands with them, and bring in more context. If you look at the names that you referred to, that's what my thought on this is, Ruby.
Can you name me the biggest AI entrepreneur? They all call if you look at it, the names that you referred to, and when I asked the audience, nobody will talk about the Anthropic co-founder who happens to be a woman. So that's how it is. Nobody will talk about the Anthropic co-founder who happens to be a woman. So that's how it is. But we are there. Nevertheless, that's my next question to you as an investor. I'll keep that but on hold right now. Nevertheless, that's my next question to you as an investor. I'll keep over to you, Najila. Right now, we had been to Brazil and we saw over to you, Najila. Economy is. We had been to Brazil, very similar to India. How big your economy is, strong relationships, very similar to India. So when you look at strong relationships at the entire, so when you look at in terms of cross-border collaboration, how do you see cross-border collaboration? Countries, how do you see countries like yours can come together and collaborate and come together and collaborate to create a global scalable impact for women in AI?
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. So it's really great to be here. Well, right now is a very special moment for AI collaboration between our countries. Because I don't know if you guys are aware, but this week we are going to have President Lula here, and he's bringing the largest commercial and diplomatic delegation to Asia, and this will be a great opportunity to meet in person. We are going to have over 200 business leaders here. So you can meet them at the hall and discuss, the possibility, whatever industry, because I see a full spectrum that we could collaborate, from female health, from the creative economy, there is in agriculture, there are many possibilities that we can collaborate. And this delegation is coming here. Also, they're going to inaugurate a permanent office here. Apex Brazil is the agency that really promotes Brazilian trade globally. So from now on, because I always see our countries are underexplored. We know little about each other, And our trade is considerably small, $15 billion, and can be so much more, but we have to reach out. And I really believe, this initiative right now of the Brazilian government of coming here and having a physical office is going to be a game changer for women and for men. So really the possibility of business is endless. And that's why I see that we need to start talking to each other, knowing about our economies, and saying where can we develop more business, like for the creative economy. So your industry here, you are the largest producer in the world. And Brazil is the largest hub in Latin America. So together, we are 1.6 billion market that is very little explored. That's why I really like to give the incentive, go and meet the Brazilian delegates. And also, if you don't have a chance, please go to the office, Apex office, and talk to them. So I really believe that's what we need most, is the reach out to each other. And we are also launching right now a new artistic residency called AI Residency in Rio for young female creators to produce verticals using AI. And we're really hoping India is going to be part of this, and some more countries from the global south. And we are very excited to talk more about it at the end, if you are interested. Thank you.
Great. Great. I think a lot of women can be a part of this residency in the creative industry space. In fact, we as BRICS CCI, we also, Najila, if you're aware, we are in talks with SEBRE to work closely in the MSME and the SME space for women entrepreneurs, because I think the biggest challenge lies there, not with the bigger startups. Now over to Shivani here. Shivani has, she does a very interesting thing. She actually works with the younger generation on imbibing this entire love for technology. And Shivani, if you look about the numbers, of course, when you look overall, it looks there like there's a lot of women in technology. In India, for example, our numbers in STEM education are 43%. Globally, around 22% women are in AI. But when you look at the numbers moving from, there is the leaking tap. Women join the industry, but most of them don't become entrepreneurs. I don't know how many of us really encourage our daughters to go on and become entrepreneurs. The first thing we'll tell her is go and work for an entrepreneur in a big company. But how many of us really encourage them to become an entrepreneur? So Shivani, my question to you is, you as Think Startup are working on a lot of youth ideathons and college youth ideathons, and you're working with the younger generation. Where do you see what is it about the mindset of these women that you feel, the young girls, are they really looking at entrepreneurship in tech as a career? Or, I just want your viewpoints.
Hello. Yeah, thank you so much, Ruby, for that, for having me here on this panel and bringing this really important topic to the forefront. So for the last 5 years, we have been running Pan-India Innovation Entrepreneurship Competition, which runs at school and college level. And let's start with the good news. Year on year, we have been seeing increasing participation from girls, and increasingly tech ideas, tech first, AI first this year, ideas coming from girls. This year, in fact, we hit about 45% participation. So that's a really great number. The other thing we see with girls who are building very confidently with tech today is that they are very purpose-driven, right? They are not limiting their thinking to traditional industries. They are looking at global problems. They are looking at national problems, local problems. In fact, in this youth hackathon, some of the girls' ideas which really stood out, which were very tech first, very AI first, we had an 8th grader who's building a wearable device for the elderly, driven by what she sees as a struggle from her with her grandparents. Then there are 2 girls from Meerut who got fed up with the whole air pollution challenge and said, why aren't we doing anything? And they have created a bio-decomposting solution which can be spread on fields using drones, and is actually going to improve soil quality and stop this crop burning issue. So absolutely inspiring. Then there were 4 girls from Tamil Nadu who have created a prototype for a cow shed cleaner. Like, that's a really local problem. But here are girls very confidently coming from all parts of India and coming, taking up, embracing AI, embracing technology and building. So really what's missing is the missing middle, and how we as, the people who are kind of shaping this in the next 12 months, how do we take those girls who are dreaming and building today, and how do we create the ecosystem to allow them to become the female entrepreneurs of tomorrow?
Great, Shivani. I think it's so optimistic to hear, all this good news. So, in fact, there was a recent news report also about the entrepreneurship is moving from the metros to the rural areas now. So it's no longer that it moves from the metro. It's no longer the hub and spoke model only. My next question to you, Bibin, because all of us here are talking about that women are very interested in becoming entrepreneurs, but somewhere, somewhere there is a gap. There's a leaking pipeline, as I told. So you are also an investor. And when you put on your investor's hat and you look at a startup, be it a women-run startup or a male-run startup, let's talk about it as a startup. What are the factors that you look at, and what is it that you look at which makes you feel that this startup is there for the long run? Obviously, as an investor, you won't invest because it's a women-run startup. So what are the key things that you're looking at when you're looking at a startup, be it a male or a female run, so that we can avoid stumbling more?
Yeah, so this one I would want to answer just as an investor, not thinking it's a women-led or a... but I'll also answer you to your question that what do I find good in women-led startups. So I'll start with the later one first. So what I find good in women-led startups is a lot of times women-led startups focus on durability much more than the noise, which means there might be trends shifting and still women founders will stick to their real goal and the real problem. They are actually very clear on the problem statement which they're trying to solve. That's something which I really like about women founders or women-led startups. But something which I'm very keen on looking at startups is more of proof, proof over valuations. That are you chasing a valuation? Are you chasing something which is probably unrealistic and just probably synthetically created? That is one. And when I say proof, I also want proof in terms of numbers. That can be as good as doing a small pilot, right? And I will also accept here that a lot of times women-led founders have been able to do it much better. Because they are okay to have those first 100 users, validate them, understand their pain points, and deliver again and again, optimizing the solution to those 100 users, and end up becoming the go-to product. That is one important thing. Second, is of course not pivoting a lot on the basis of feedback. Because pivoting a lot also shows lack of focus or lack of focus towards the problem, which I previously mentioned. Third, don't run behind valuations, run behind revenues. And for some reasons, I've also found women founders doing that pretty well. They've been able to get that early revenues. That can be as good as probably as low as $1,000, but they've been able to crack that. And a lot of times, I end up meeting founders who have a valuation of like a few $100 million and not even having a sale of $100, right? Just because they have a novelty of a technology. So these are, particularly a few things that I look at. Of course, in the end, there are those common things such as the team. So, of course, just because you're a women founder doesn't mean, means that you will get money. You have to be the right fit of the team. You need to be building the right product at the right time. There has to be validation of your product. There has to be numbers that show that your product is somebody is going to use it. Have you identified who is going to pay for it? Users and customers are different, right? A lot of people use ChatGPT today. Not all of them pay for it, right? So these are a few things which I focus on. I believe I've answered your question.
Yeah, I agree. Just one quick question to Elvira on what he's saying. Talking to you, Vibin, I was feeling, why is it that after an investor is saying that we women are so much better when it comes to all the qualities that you're mentioning, we're still not getting all the funds, Amrita. And Shivani, you need to send all your women startups to him. Okay. So, Elvira, I mean, you are from a financial institution. What is it that organizations like you can do to improve the scenario better for women in terms of credit-free loans? Because a lot of collateral issues are with women, and in terms of incentives, etc.
Okay, when we're talking about funds and getting funds for startups, I guess women and men are on the same level here, I guess. But in Russia, I'm judging by Russia, but I guess in Global South, the situation is quite different. And I understand why, because I do know and I do believe that in Global South countries, they still use, but please correct me if I'm wrong, they use as a collateral, I don't know, maybe the property or other assets, and historic only men possessed it, and here comes the question to historic data, which is used for training models, but if we're talking about how we change it and go straight from the traditional banking system to the modern opportunities for entrepreneurs and women in particular. For instance, in Sberbank, we have Sber Accelerator, 500 plus we call it, and each year startups, doesn't matter who owns it, women or men, they can apply for funds. They show what they offer by creating this startup. They show their results for several months of working, and what do they expect to get in 6 months or in a year. They participate in some competitive assignments from Sberbank, and in the end, during Moscow Startup Summit, they received their their funds, according to their needs, and they participate all people, as I said, men, women, so it doesn't matter. So we don't have that criteria. And also we have in Russia we have Skolkovo Innovation Institution, or Skolkovo Foundation, we call it this way. And if startups start with this Skolkovo Foundation, they can easily get funds. Doesn't matter on their gender. So what I want to say that if we're talking about how it is easier to get funds, we need to go to the banks which provide some sort of programs, as I mentioned in Sberbank, so it will be easier for startups to get funds, or maybe governmental institutions. Maybe governments should create special policies for entrepreneurs.
Thanks. Great. You know, Amrita, there's just a point on this, because you are from the sustainability space, and it's increasingly becoming a big mandate globally, sustainability and climate aspects. So how do you feel women founders can scale up their businesses in this space, especially in the AI?
Absolutely. Ruby, I think when we are looking at the planet and the cities and the ecosystems that we live in, it's really important to design solutions, for the planet as a whole, but also, if I may just add, one lens, that we often don't design solutions with women citizens or women users in mind, right? We're designing for the average, and we're designing in general and not in specific, the way women and children, use, for example, our cities and our infrastructure. So I'll give you a couple of examples of, how, for example, when we were designing Safe City in Noida, the whole idea is to create a digital twin of the city and to look at, for example, all the black spots, or the hotspots where incidents are happening, lay that with information about where are the road networks, where is the public transportation, what else needs to be done to create it into a holistic city-led system and solution, so that women are safe. There is better lighting on those streets where lighting needs to be better. There is better connectivity and public transport on the streets where it is required. Again, if we are looking at traffic and mobility planning, there's a very interesting concept called trip chaining, right? So so women, so when we are designing, traffic systems, we actually look and we do studies and we look at what is the peak traffic, what is the congestion, coefficient and so on. And, based on that, you're looking at your adaptive traffic systems, like where are signals being placed, what is the signal frequency and timing and so on. But you're not putting that lens of women moving in the city, right? And women, for example, I was talking about this concept of trip chaining, that, for example, they do a lot of short hop trips in a city. It might be to drop a child to school, to do their groceries, to take their elderly in the family to some place nearby, and so on. So when you're looking at, we looked at data from, this is crowdsourced data from some of the ride sharing companies. You're able to look at what those movement patterns are, which are different from the movement patterns, for example, which are happening at specific time of the day or day of the week and so on. So you can use interesting things to build solutions for women. And again, from a policy lens, there is a lot that is happening, but what we need is a larger procurement come policy lens, where government buyers, because government is the buyer in this case, are telling the municipalities or the companies to actually bring in this lens when we are designing these solutions.
Thanks. We are running out of time, I think. So my next question to you, Najila, is you are working on creating this ecosystem through your AIR residency program and all. So why do you feel it's very important beyond funding and credit lines to get the softer skills there for women to become truly successful entrepreneurs?
Well, as we know, women, the access, the skills is very important, of course, but also what I feel that is lacking more for us is the capital. We really need to get the funds. And this particular area, that we are planning in a way that women, they are going to have their IP, they're going to have their shorts or a first episode of a series, and we are also going to put them to the next level. It's not just, okay, you have this residency and then it's over. No, you need to have that peers network. So from here, you are meeting producers, you are meeting distributors, and you are going to understand how we can use AI to really make the best of your film, because AI literacy is quite important. And of course, it's very new, but people in reality, they are not using to the max. And that's the way we feel that is going to give them, okay, you're going to use this tool that is going to make your film, your product, that is going to be very high quality. And it's not just going to stop here. We're also going to give you, the possibility to continue your career. Because women in this I'm talking particularly in the audiovisual. So they get to the middle career and they stop there. For most cases, it's very difficult, to go to the next level, and they stop, and sometimes they even give up completely. And the other thing, like Instituto Mais Mulheres that I work for, our mission is really to prepare leadership. Because when you prepare leaders, they are going to multiply. They are going to hire more women, and the leadership is going to multiply more and more. So that is very important, that you just don't give the skills. You have to go beyond.
Yeah, true. So soft skills are also very important, and increasing this women in the top, that's what you're talking about, the leadership numbers is very important. In fact, we at BRICS CCI, we also do a global women leadership mentoring program focusing on this aspect. Shivani, one policy change that you feel would really encourage women to become more of AI entrepreneurs in the next 12 months, 24 months, whatever timeline you're looking at. What is it that you want from the summit here?
Increase the pipeline of women coming in aspiring to be entrepreneurs, which means interventions at school and college level, pathways to take innovative ideas out into the real market, access to market, and also top down some very specific vertical focused innovation challenges, places where we want India to be shining. We want to be at the global edge of AI, something like what we are working with the BRICS, we as well well, a vertical focused innovation challenge. Open it up to India. We are very creative people. We will come up with solutions and then incubate those solutions to create a really thriving AI economy.
Great. Now, we are running short of time, so I'll just quickly ask each of you to give one line of advice to aspiring women entrepreneurs in the AI space. Over to you, Amrita.
Thank you so much, Ruby. So I think, obviously the most important thing is skilling and education, but also learning the context, because the solution resides in the context, and AI is as useful as the depth of the context to which it understands and applies to. So yeah.
For Elvira, because you have moved from a different role to the AI role, from DPO, from a data protection officer, what is that one technical skill that women require to make that change to the AI role?
All of us need to be adaptive to what's going on around us, especially if we're talking about technology and AI. But what I want to advise women who are in internship right now, or they want to go there, if you want to go to AI, you need to pay attention at large language models, because AI agentic is everything. And if you want to create good startup, you need to be aware of this and to be professional in the sphere. It doesn't mean you need to be like the coder, no, but you need to understand how it works, that's for sure.
Great. Bibin, one line of advice for women entrepreneurs to get more monies from you, aspiring women entrepreneurs. Yeah.
For men out there, I think we should stop supporting women and rather fix systems. They're doing good on the table already. Let them lead. That's one. To the women out there, you don't need permission to lead in AI. We need what you guys are building. Build more. The capital is out there. The support is out there. Just go out and build.
Great. Najila, one line.
I would say for women, do not think what AI can do for their career, but what their career can do for AI, and keep human and inclusive is very important.
Shivani, over to you.
For women, it is just shed any limiting beliefs that you have, and don't wait until you feel you are ready. Just build and take your ideas into the world.
With that, I want to thank the panelists for a very insightful discussion. And before Ankita comes here to give the vote of thanks, just one line from us, from the V Vertical. There's a very famous saying, as you told. One famous advice for women is, you have to decide whether you want to be a thermometer or a thermostat in the room. Whether you want to really just measure the temperature, or you want to create and control the temperature or be the change. So it's up to us to decide what we want to be in the larger narrative. And thank you to everyone here for being a great audience. Over to you, Yashika.
Thank you so much to our wonderful panelists for your insightful addresses. Now taking over the thermostat of the room, may I please invite Ms. Ankita Sachdev, Joint Director, BRICS CCI, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, everybody. I had a couple of things in mind to speak up, but because of the paucity of time, I'll keep it as brief as possible. So, be the change, as Ruby said. I'll extend my sincere appreciation and gratitude to the Government of India for its continued vision and commitments towards strengthening India's AI ecosystem. It's unbelievable how these 4 days that are there in the pipeline, how our Government of India has focused and implemented the minutest of the things all together. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to our Vice Chairman, Mr. Sameep Shastri, who's always there as a guiding light, and thank you for his continued guidance. And a special thanks to our moderator, Ruby Sinha, President of Women Vertical. Her never say die attitude never dies for sure. Her vision and dedication curated this impactful session. Her commitment to advancing women entrepreneurship continues a strong and global platform for change. I would like to sincerely thank our esteemed panelists, Ms. Amrita Chaudhary, Ms. Elvira Chache, Mr. Bibin Babu, Ms. Najila, and Ms. Shivani Kapoor Singh for sharing their valuable insights, experiences, and global perspectives. I would also like to place on record my appreciation for the entire BRICS CCI team, whose hard work behind the scene made this session seamless and successful. Your dedication, coordination, and commitment are deeply valued. Finally, thank you to the wonderful audience for your engagement and thoughtful participation with gratitude and optimism for continued collaboration. I conclude this session. Thank you for a very wonderful day. Thank you so much.
With this is BRICS CCI, BRICS Chamber of Commerce and Industry signing off for today. Thank you so much for being a lovely audience.